Welcome back to Ad Hoc Games, and today we're taking a look at the brand new wargame from Warlord Games called Konflikt 47. This is based on the bolt action rule set, and it came out this month, and it's a alternate history where everything started to diverge around 1943. So the first section of the book is on the background, and like I said, everything was pretty much the same until 1943, when we made a breakthrough with atomic weapons, and one was set off in Los Alamos, and it created a rift in time and space. But that didn't stop the Americans, who then set one off at Dresden and leveled the place and opened up a second rift. These rifts started broadcasting radio signals detailing new technologies to both sides of the war, and the Germans made heavy use of the biotechnology aspects of it, creating things like the Nachtjäger, pictured here. And then walkers became prolific on both sides. So the first segment of the book details this background and shows how the campaigns have gone in the various theatres of war, and some nice little photographs of various walkers scattered throughout this, along with blueprints for some of the heavy infantry designs as well. And this delves into all of the fronts in the war, so both Eastern Front, Western Front and the Pacific, with some colour maps showing the various holdings of the various factions involved. Then there's a page on what you need to play, a few explanations of basic ideas like measuring and line of sight. Now, for anyone who's played bolt action, the majority of these rules are going to be very familiar. It's basically all first edition bolt action, with a few slight changes in the assault phase to make it a bit more punishing. And then there's some rules for walkers and some extra unit rules. But if you have played bolt action, it's literally 5 minutes read through and you'll be ready to play Konflikt 47 with no problems. We've had things like Tesla cannons and gravity guns. They aren't massively superior to existing weapons, so there's no need to spend a fortune buying all the latest Konflikt 47 units for your bolt action army just to be able to compete. Throughout the book they've scattered in some sneak peeks at non-released miniatures so far, like the Shrek and Wolf. And you've got the headquarters section, just like bolt action. And the unit special rules, which add things like horror and terror in. And there's a look at the totem core with a nice bit of artwork. You've got the artillery section that works pretty much as in bolt action. And then another unreleased miniature here. This is the Mud Skipper Jump Walker for the Americans. Going through, there's an explanation on how walkers work, which is largely like vehicles, except they have more arcs of fire. And then in the rest of the book, there's the various army lists and how to play a game. The army lists are quite basic at the moment, much like the army lists that were in the bolt action rulebook. I imagine there'll be books that will expand the options available, and it's worth noting that all the units in the bolt action armies of books are usable in Konflikt 47 as well, which is good news because my Japanese don't actually have any official Konflikt 47 rules yet. So the army lists are quite nice. There's some decent pictures of all the new mechs and some artwork scattered in there, pictures of the Zeus. Overall it's a great book, but there are some niggles I have with Konflikt 47. The main niggle is it's basically first edition bolt action, which when there's a second edition being released in a month, it kind of feels like they could have waited and implemented some of the second edition ideas into this game as well, and avoided any need to update in the near future. Other than that, it's a decent product. It's the usual high standards Warlord and Osprey put out in terms of production, and it's been a fun game that we've been playing the last few weeks, getting used to the new ideas, so I look forward to playing more Konflikt 47. I've always been more interested in the science fiction, alternate history rather than a pure historical war game, so this really is a product for me. If you liked the video, remember to share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.